In busy furniture and equipment plans like this one, tagging each individual instance of every family is going to get visually very messy, as we shall see. Let's go to annotate, tag all. I'll need to load the furniture tag into this drawing, insert, load family, furniture tag, okay. And now do tag all, annotate, tag all, furniture tags. I'll say without a leader. And you can see the sort of mess that this gets in, especially since those tags, had been a Department of Defense project or Army Corps of Engineers, and they wanted everything with these very specific tags that don't even fit inside the symbol, whatever, and they all stack on top of each other. It's a mess. It's just a pain to have to deal with things this way. So I'm going to undo that and demonstrate another way to connect the visual element on the drawing to the textual information about it. Let's just see what is involved in making a legend that will make this clearer. So if we go to View, Legend, we just want the legend kind, the graphic kind. We're probably not going to get to keynotes. Legend, and we'll just call this Furniture Legend. Or Furnishings Legend or something like that. And I want its scale down here to match the scale of the drawing that it's going to be next to. So a given chair is going to be the same size in both of them, and just make it really clear. And then all we do is go down to Families in Project Browser, scroll down to Furniture, and under each family is one or more types, which are what you simply drag into the legend. And here's this little double coat hook. Cute. I mean, just do it on the wall behind a door or the back of the door or something or other. So that's a double one. Here's a triple one, I guess, for people who rank higher. Here's a artwork framed. As I drag this over, you'll see I have a choice of the view of it, whether I'm going to see a floor plan view, which it doesn't even do. This is one that goes on a wall. So I'll say, well, let me see an elevation view. Maybe I'll stick that over here and we'll deal with elevation views later. Let's do a desk. 3 by 6, 30 by 6, 72 desk, and some workstations. You can see there's sort of a mismatch of size. And I think I would like to sort of pull these little guys over, and we'll make like a accessories legend or something like that in addition to the furniture legend. We just keep going down here to place all the things that you need to place, and they sort of line up with each other just graphically, which is handy. Anyway, so you can see what's going on. And then what we have to do here is to say, this is a 72 by 30 desk from Herman Miller of such and such a size and such a number of drawers and that kind of thing. And we can't just tag these guys, unfortunately. If we go to annotate, tag by category, they're just not picking it up. They'll do that in a plan, but this is a legend where we are expected to provide the information. That's the thing. So if I pick this desk, you can see the information for it is right there. I'm going to drag this out a little bit. And right now we just say that's we know it's furniture. We're going to say furniture schedule. So I'm just going to go in there and copy Control-C, the desk, 72 by 30, Control-C, come out here, pick my text tool. This is going to be awfully big, but I'll do it just for grins right now. Draw the rectangle, Control-V to paste. Okay, that's too big. We'll pick a smaller one. Fair enough. And I can copy this down here and we'll replace that text with something smaller. So if I'm picking this one, I see what it, I got to drag this all the way out. And the point being, I could be writing anything in here. I mean, whatever I need to put in there, I can put in there. I can put in the manufacturer's URL. I mean, anything we want to do here. But let's just drag this. You gotta be able to see it all to grab it all. I don't want to erase any of it. Control C. And there's Control V. And I can choose how I want to format those guys. And then this is just text, so I'll put this up here. Maybe change that to say furniture schedule. Or let's say FF&E schedule. Change that to the bigger font. And basically everything that's here, everything that's in this view is going to end up being dragged onto the sheet when I place this view. So if there's stuff that I don't want it, I'm going to get rid of it. So in fact, I will get rid of this. I can make a bunch of these schedules. I can just go to create schedule and pick furniture again and start picking those little accessories and things. But once I've got this like this, it's made, so I can go down to my sheet, up to my sheet. Where did it go? Here we are. Oh, I haven't made a sheet for the furniture plan. Right click, new sheet. I'll drag the FF&E plan in here. And I'll drag the legend in there. And maybe I need to move stuff around. Maybe I need a bigger sheet. There's always a lot of horse trading for space on sheets like this. Nice thing, these will wrap, or the text will wrap. So we can make that shorter if we need to fit it on a sheet. At this point, I still need a schedule though for this. The Navy wants to know how many of those chairs, how many of those coat hooks, how many of those whatevers. So they also want to know what's in each room. So we'll to that. I think what I'm going to do is do a bigger sheet just so we can have some room to play with this schedule on it. A schedule listing the contents of each room is going to be a very long one, which we're going to gradually shorten and refine and divide so that we can tell how many chairs we have in which room. We'll see how that goes. So we'll go to View, Schedules. And this again will be furniture, since that's what we're dealing with. And I wanted to have, to start with, just the type mark. Add that, the count, so we'll know how many. And the family and type, I guess we'll do. Let's say family and type. Okay. So big long list. Some of that's a little repetitious. Let's just say family, and let's get rid of family and type and just say family and see if that's a little more useful. A little shorter. It doesn't repeat repeat some information. And that's just a lot to wade through. Nobody wants to do that. So we might actually format this in a couple of different ways, have multiple schedules here. One would be just how many of those these F200 waste cans are there in the whole project? So let's just see how that works. So I want to sort by, I've got my fields like this. Let's say I want to sort them by type mark, just get these in alphabetical order. And then I don't want to itemize every single instance. So that'll just give us a raw number of each of them. Still a lot, but it's only 1 page's worth rather than, probably 3 pages worth. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this one and stick it on that sheet, just so somebody who's bidding the chairs can just say, oh, I need 23 Aeron chairs. I don't have to look at the individual rooms for that. So that's furniture schedule 2. And I'm going to drag that onto the sheet, which I can do just like this. And it says, where do you want it, Bill? And that's really long because these are multiple lines. So I'm going to drag that out so that none of those have to go into double lines. Still big. I would like to drag this folder out so none of those type marks go down to a double line. And if you notice on a bunch of these sheets, you'll have some sheets that are just schedules. There's just not room for them on the sheets with the plans. Well, there's that. Just so we know. And then on this particular project, they also wanted to know how many of each was in each room, because we were given a list of everything that had to be in a typical office or lab or whatever it happened to be. And we had to make sure that we had those. So we're going to make another schedule. Actually, we're just going to copy that one. So let me rename this one, Furniture Schedule 2. I'm going to call it Furniture Schedule Totals. And that'll change to be Furniture Schedule Totals over here. Then I'm going to copy that, edit, duplicate view. And I'm going to call this Furniture Schedules by Room. Furniture Schedule by Room. So we can take that same basic schema here, the same fields. We start with this, then we go to fields. And the difference here is instead of just drawing, I basically want to add a room number to each of these. Instead of just indicating the furniture information, I want to be able to go up to the rooms that we have and be able to add the room number, room number, add that, and maybe move it up to start telling where these guys are, which Revit is also keeping track of. And at that point, I need to, this is great. I do need to itemize every instance. So in room 128, I have some items that don't have type marks somehow attached to them. In room 106, I have a bunch of these little double coat hooks. So I would like to, this group now, I would like to order by the room number in increasing order. So that's sorting and grouping. I'm going to go by room number is first, and then I'll sort by this type mark thing. Okay. Thinks about it. So now we have room 100 with all of its stuff, 101 with all of its stuff, 102 with all of its stuff. And at this point, these guys, I think we can combine those so I can see how many of the steel case seating things there are in room 100. Let's see how that works, sorting and grouping. I think we say don't itemize every instance, then it will add them up within each room. Okay, that's good. So we see we have 2 FO415s in room 100, which is nice because that we would have gotten the spreadsheet from the Navy saying I need 2 of these in that room. So then it's sort of hard to see this all stacked up. I would like to get at least a blank line between rooms to make that all clearer. So I'll go into sorting and grouping. And so every time room number changes, I want to add a blank line. Takes a little while to add up. So there's our blank line between 100 and 101. And really, I don't need to see 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. I could just have maybe up in this line right here, I could just see 100, and then we can hide this column altogether. So here under sorting and grouping, I can say add the room number to the header, which is the line ahead of each group. So there's 100 that sort of will serve all of these guys. And then I can hide this column with these white hundreds. So it's just stuff I don't need to see. So that's enter in formatting. I can say room number can be a hidden field. Okay. And so now we have in room 100, I have these guys, this many, that's what they are. And we can we'll change the size once we get out there. I can change these to say, instead of type mark, I can just say item, which is shorter, and type mark is sort of a Revit thing, not a Navy thing, and QTY for quantity. And then I can place that on the sheet as well, which should be a different way of looking at this same information. So furnish a schedule by room. I'm just going to drag down onto my 103 sheet. And there's that. Ooh, that's like a lot of information. And the reason it's so much longer is if I have 50 Aeron chairs, over here they just are in one line. And over here they're in a separate line for each room they're in. So to mess with this guy, what am I going to do with that? Oh, I remember. This was what we had to do was, I can just draw it better than I can describe it. And I forget how big our sheets were, but each sheet would have a floor plan of that room, whatever happened to be, and its own schedule right there on it. So we didn't have this big guy, but a separate small schedule for each room. Yeah, it's really exciting stuff. It's nice once you get it going, and they like seeing that format, reassuring them that it's sort of what they had provided to us. This is what we need in that, the commander's room or the chief medical residence room or something like that. So if I were going to even try to get this on a single sheet, well, for one thing, I can see these are doubling up. I'm going to open that up until none of those are double lines. So that'll make it some shorter, some shorter. And then if you'll see this guy right here, it says split schedule table. It'll just split it. And then I can split that. Let's say I'm going to need five of these. As I drag this up, those guys are going to keep getting longer. The ones after it keep getting longer and longer, or shorter and shorter. They affect in the forward direction only. So you sort of put together something that looks good like this, and I try to make it so that I don't split in the middle of a room. Something along those lines. But as you can see, it's still going to be a big sheet to do that, which is why I know we didn't do this. We did it room by room. So the way you make a schedule for just a single room, let's go for that room 101, that room 100. If I want to see the schedule just of room 100, just this information right here, same information, but just one room, I would go back to here. I would duplicate this room, duplicate this view, duplicate furniture schedule, and I'm just going to call this room 100. And what we're going to do here is filter. We're going to include rows that only meet some criteria. So I'm going to filter to say where room number equals 100. And then we just have this to deal with. And we just put that on any size of a sheet next to the enlarged room 100 plan and do the same thing for 102, 103, 104, as far up as it goes. So we could put that on a sheet just to and on a project like this, you would also have a whole book, which probably has a page for each item, which would have complete information, size, dimensions, finishes, extra features like gold-plated drawer handles. I don't know what they happen to be, but that would be going in. And these last couple of days have been like, this isn't the exciting part of design, but this is the making it real part of design. If you're not going to do it, who's going to do it? Okay, so we tagged elements in plan and scheduled them in the previous drawing. We did the legends, furniture legend. We sorted furniture schedules by room and then restricted it to one room. Well, that's what I got.